What drives you on? I mean, you're rich, you're famous, and you don't need to work. What drives you on?
At this very moment, it's two wonderful names, and that is Montserrat Caballé. And I think it's like it really is a shot in the arm, and all those cliches. I think it's something that sort of came so. It wasn't calculated, you know. It was something that just sort of came rocketing out of the sky. And just fell upon me.
Yeah.
And so now I've just sort of, it's virtually sort of enveloped me. And I can think of nothing else, to be honest. So that's what keeps me going. No, fabulous. It's something that, because I haven't quite finished the project or whatever, and I think it's sort of, it's all bubbling under. We're sort of still doing things, and there's so much scope and so much life and energy in this that, and it's very early days. So I mean, I'm just going by. There's so much to look forward to, as far as I'm concerned. So I'm going on one aspect as a work thing, and the other thing is totally in awe.
In awe of her?
In awe of her, and the whole thing is actually taken off. So I mean, I'm sort of, every now and again I pinch myself thinking, am I actually doing this? Is this actually happening? And the other thing is that I think, yes, it's happening, and so you better make sure the works. It all started, I think you know the story, I'll be sort of brief, is that I mentioned the fact that I would like to sing with her, and thinking nothing of it, and about a couple of months later she called me and said, I'd like to do something, let's see what happens. I flew off to Barcelona, so I didn't see her. And in between that time, I think, I thought, my dear, I had a feeling, I said, I'm not going to just approach her and talk it over, because I mean, you just can't do these things. I thought I must sort of bring to her a little idea of what she might be getting into, and in terms of music, because it was the music that was what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So I think that was the right thing to do, because otherwise it would have been trying to explain things musically. It's so much harder. So I just wrote a couple of pieces. I wrote with Mike Moran, you know.
Yes.
And played her a couple of pieces, which she immediately took to, you know, quite readily. And that was how it sort of started, because I mean, she did. I'm talking about different characters. I mean, she laid it down the line. She just said, "Look, I'd love to do something, and we're two musicians. And if it doesn't work out, we'll be." She said she'd be quite. She's quite outspoken, and she'd quite readily say, "Look, it's not working. Let's call it a day." So she was quite prepared to do that, and she told me that, and I was quite prepared to sort of accept that. And ever since that day, I mean, it's just like sort of a real turning point. I mean, a proper turning point in my career, as it were. Because she has took to me in such a way that I just think, and I just keep being floored by it. You know, I just think, my God, I can't believe it. Somebody of her ilk and of her stature and of her sort of world.
Yeah.
I just hope the pieces are right. I mean, she's just ready to sing anything, you know, at the moment. Because I mean, she's sort of keeps telling me that she's sort of found another sort of a new lease of life and sort of this sort of newfound freedom.
Yeah.
Things. Those are her own words. I just hope everything comes. And the thing is that I'm working on it in a way that I don't give a damn about whether it's success. Of course, well, I do. I mean, sorry, I should say. I mean, I'd love people, but I mean, I'm not going to sort of fall into a trap where I think that I have to sort of musically put something that's commercially accepted or accepted by. Because I mean, how do you do it? I mean, whose fans? Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
It's going to be her fans or my fans.
Yeah.
Now, they buy such totally varied products. So what do you do? And the last thing on my mind was to try and sort of bridge that gap, saying we must put a little element of me in that way.
Yeah.
I just want the songs to take over the whole thing. So I mean, if it means that suddenly it's totally purist opera, and if that comes across and she wants to sing it, I would do that, and even foregoing my own voice.
Yeah.
But what she does want to do is that she loves. She said to me today on the phone that she loves the way our voices sound together. She said, yeah, she did. So,
why did you want to do it, Freddie?
Well, it's something that I thought it's something that I always wanted to do, but never thought that it would arise, and it just came about. You know, that's what I'm saying. It was just I was planning to do a solo project, my second solo project as well, and I thought, well, time's come where I should come up with another album. And I really didn't want to do another sort of album, a solo album and just a bunch of songs. I wanted it to have, this project to have some kind of bearing, something different, not just a bunch of songs that you record and release.
Yeah.
And I really hadn't put my mind to it, whether it sort of formed a musical, it had to have another sort of stamp to it. Something that spearheaded the damn thing, whether it be anything.
Some individual.
Yes, something different from another boring studio album, really. That just happened. No matter how good my songs were, just another bunch of songs.
Yeah.
I wanted to have another sort of, call it concept, call it, it had to have another standpoint for me. Yeah, something worthwhile, and so, and I was sort of looking for ideas in that direction, and suddenly this came up, combined, completely swallowed me up. It was like a tidal wave, And the worst thing was, if anybody says rock opera, because that's like, what was it? I just tear all my hair out.
Yes.
Because it's not a rock opera. But although those terms seem to signify what we're doing, because I'm rock and roll.
Yes.
That's about as Spartan as you can get.
Yes.
But as far as the music we're doing, is something I can't myself label, because it's just happy music, something that we've...
happy music.
Yeah.
When you reach a point like this, Freddie, in your life, when you've achieved so much, do you feel fulfilled? You'll be 41 on Saturday. Do you feel fulfilled, or how do you feel?
At this moment in time, I feel elated. I do, because it's like, if ever I could say to anybody who's about to give up or anything, that it's amazing how there is something still at the end. There is, here comes another cliche, light at the end of the tunnel. You'd be amazed. You just have to sort of try and stretch yourself, and try and sort of, even though you've been sort of, you say, oh my God, it's up to you in the end, and you'll be amazed what the human being can do. It can happen. It can. I think my life is changing at the moment because of all this sort of this musical. There's a very heavy musical growth.
Yeah.
At the moment.
Yeah.
And what's it now? I'm just, I'm at the moment, darling. I'm smiling from my arse to the arse to elbow, dear.
No, but
I do actually. I sometimes sit at home and I sort of sit there, like
a cat.
like I was just going to say, like just swallow the canary, thinking, oh dear, a lot of people like to be in my shoes right now. Initially, when we started, we had our own thing to do, and we were so sort of, apart from being, we were so stubborn about it, to be honest, that we just wanted to do just our own thing. We were sort of, which is a good thing to do, because it was like we were letting people know that we were a thing to be reckoned with, and all that. So we had all these ideas. It's I don't think people could, to be honest, can make it by doing sort of cover versions all the time. I think it's wrong, to show originality and things like that. And I just thought that I think the time had come where I wasn't scared to sort of break out of that mold. A lot of people have done cover versions before, but with Queen, it's always been a sort of. I think the factor is that we are so prolific within ourselves that I'd feel that if I ventured into a studio with Queen and said, look, I'd like to do a remake of a certain song, they would say, oh well, he's drying up, and because they've got tons of songs. So I think that kept us going. So we always had to come up with really original
material.
stuff. Yeah, material.